A Fatbike is an off-road bicycle with oversized tires, typically 3.8 in or larger and rims 2.6 in or wider, designed for low ground pressure to allow riding on soft unstable terrain, such as snow, sand, bogs and mud. Fatbikes are built around frames with wide forks and stays to accommodate the wide rims required to fit these tires. The wide tires can be used with inflation pressures as low as 5 psi to allow for a smooth ride over rough obstacles. A rating of 8 to Euro 10 size suitable for the majority of riders. Terminology: Fatbikes are also called Fatbikes, wide-tire bikes, or winter bikes. The sport is sometimes referred to as snow biking, or winter mountain biking. Usage: Fatbikes were invented for winter trail riding and racing in subarctic Alaska on the Iditarod Trail and simultaneously, for touring the deserts of New Mexico. They are versatile bikes, capable of traversing diverse terrain types including snow, sand, desert, bogs, mud, pavement, or traditional mountain biking trails. In several states, Fatbike-dedicated groomed winter trails have been created. History: although early versions of fat-tired bikes were probably built on a limited basis as long ago as the early 1900s, the first Fatbikes were developed in the 1980s. The first modern Fatbike was designed by French cyclist Jean Naud in 1980. He rode it from Zinder in Niger to Tamanrasset in Algeria. An early Fatbike was ridden in 1986 across the Sahara using fat tire prototypes from Michelin. In the late 1980s, Alaskan frame builders began experimenting with custom components and configurations designed to achieve a large contact patch of tire on snow. Steve Baker, with Icicle Bicycles in Anchorage, was welding together 2 rims and even 3 rims and built several special frames and forks that could accommodate 2 or 3 tires together. Roger Cowles, Mark Fries, Dan Bull and one other rider rode the entire length of the Iditarod Trail from Neek to Nome in 1989. Simultaneously, in New Mexico, Ray Molina had commissioned Remolino 3.1 in rims, 3.5 in tires, and frames to fit them. He wanted the bikes for his guided tour business in the soft sands of the Mexican and Southwest arroyos and dunes. Mark Grunewald, owner of Wildfire Designs Bicycles in Palmer, Alaska, met Molina at the 1999 Interbike Convention in Las Vegas and rode one of Molina's prototypes at demo days. In late 1999, Grunewald and another Alaskan frame builder, John Evingson, collaborated to design and build several bikes using Molina Euro unregistered trademark S rims and tires. Grunewald and Evingson then began producing their own separate lines of fat-tired bikes in 2000. Rims and tires were imported to Alaska where Wildfire and Evingson began making small, handmade production runs and custom-ordered frames built around Remolino 80mm rims and 3.5-inch tires. Grunewald coined the trademark Fatbike in 2001 and used it as the model name for his bikes. Grunewald originally worked with Palmer Machinery for welding and later contracted frame building to Mike DeSalvo at DeSalvo Siles of Ashland, Oregon. Grunewald continued to sell his original Fatbikes until 2011. Grunewald's design featured an 18mm offset wheel and frame built to allow full-range gearing, since he was using standard hubs and bottom brackets available at the time. Wildfire and Evingson bikes were used in the Iditarod Trail races beginning in 2000. Also that year, Mike Kuriak from Colorado set a record on the Iditarod Trail in the Iditar Sport Extreme race to Nome on a modified Marin bike with Remolino rims and tires. Surly Bikes released the Pugsley frame in 2005, and began producing large March 65mm rims and endomorph 3.8-inch tires in 2006. The Pugsley frame, rim and tire offerings made Fatbikes commercially available in local bike shops worldwide. The Pugsley bikes also featured the offset wheel and frame build. Other early versions of the Fatbike were normal mountain bikes equipped with snowcat rims, created by Simon Rakawa of All Weather Sports in Fairbanks, Alaska in the early 1990s. Or with multiple tires seated on 2 or 3 standard rims that had been welded or pinned together. Rakawa was involved with technical support aspects of the Iditar bike race, which started in 1987. Since 2002 the race continued on the same trail under the name Iditarod Trail Invitational. Rakowa started hand-making extra-wide rims for participants by welding two rims together and cutting off the middle ridge known as the Snowcat rims 44mm as Rakowa produced those rims from 1991 through 1999. Many riders on the Iditarod Trail used a Jeeks tire with the Snowcat rim. Enthusiasts would cut and sew tire carcasses together to maximize the size of the tire and utilize all the available space between the seat stays and chain stays. This tire and rim combination would maximize the bicycle's footprint, increasing flotation on winter trails. Soon after, Rakowa decided to design a 44mm rim from scratch and had it produced. Snowcats revolutionized winter cycling, as they could be fitted to nearly any commercially available mountain bike. Mike Kuriak from Colorado set a record on the Iditarod Trail in the 2000 race to Nome. Surly Bikes released the Pugsley frame in 2005 and began producing large March 65mm rims and endomorph 3.8-inch tires in 2006. The Pugsley frame, rim, and tire offering made Fatbikes commercially available in local bike shops worldwide. The Pugsley bikes also featured the offset wheel and frame build. Fatback bikes came online in 2007 adding the carbon Corvus Fatbike. Another Alaskan brand 907 joined in 2010 also offering a carbon Fatbike. Other bike manufacturers have also entered the Fatbike market recently including Trek, with the Farley, Salsa with the Bear Grease and Mukluk, and Specialized with the Fatboy and On Equals One with the Fatty. Others followed since 2014 Rocky Mountain, Felt, Kona, Pivot and many more. In December 2012 Eric Larson attempted to ride a Fatbike to the South Pole. He made it a quarter of the way before he had to turn around. In 2013 and 2014 there were 3 cycling expeditions to the South Pole. Maria Lagerstam became the first to cycle to the South Pole, across the South Pole Traverse Road. She rode a tricycle with Fatbike tires. Juan Mena Copyrighters Granados skied and rode a Fatbike to the South Pole. On January 21, 2014, Daniel P. Burton became the first person to ride a bike across Antarctica to the South Pole. Burton started at Hercules Inlet, and biked 775 miles to the South Pole. He rode on a carbon fiber Borealis Yampa Fatbike with 4.8-in wide tires. The Iditarod Trail Invitational race in Alaska has grown into an international event and is the holy grail of fat biking events, offering a 130-mile, 350-mile and 1,000-mile distance. The event spurred the creation of many other winter ultra events in the United States, Canada and Europe that are accepted qualifiers to get into the Invitational. Fatbike wheels and dimensions: 26 plus 26 inches rims, width greater than 35 mm, typically 50 mm tire widths typically greater than 2.5, for example 2.8, 3.0. 27, 5 plus/650 plus 27, 5 rims, width greater than 35 mm, typically 50 mm tire width typically greater than 2.5, for example 2, 7-3, 25. 29 plus 29 inches rims, width greater than 35 mm. Tire width typically up to 3.0 inches. XL, 26 inches rims, width 60 mm 103 mm. Tires widths typically greater than 3.5, for example 3.8, 4, 5, 4, 8. 2XL, 26 inches rims, width 80 to 103 mm. Tire width greater than 5.0. Events: as the popularity of fat bikes has expanded, fat bike-specific events have emerged. Examples include the annual Global Fatbike Summit, the Fatbike Birkie Race which is part of the Great Lakes Fatbike Series, the US Open Fatbike Beach Championships, the USA Cycling Fat Bike National Championship, and the 45 NRTH Fatbike Triple Crown Race Series. See also, List of cycling topics, Antarctica cycling expeditions. References